We tend to view the collapse of a civilization as a slow, multi-generational decay. We picture bricks falling one by one until nothing is left. The reality is much sharper. History is defined by fractures, specific moments where a centuries-old world is unmade in a matter of hours. This data visualization tracks major power shifts across the last 2 millennia. There is a bizarre, disproportionate clustering of these civilization-altering events and on the date, August 24. By taking a core sample of this one day on the calendar, we can track the exact life cycle of how global empires rise, assert their will, and eventually vanish. Examining the speed of the shifts on August 24 exposes the hidden fragility of the world we live in right now. To find the start of this pattern, we have to look back to the final hours of the ancient world. This timeline tracks the 3,000-year continuous history of written Egyptian hieroglyphs. It ends on August 24, 394 AD. That was the day the graffito of Esmet Akom was carved, the final time the ancient script was ever used. Just 16 years later, linguistic death was followed by physical destruction. On August 24, 410 AD, the Visigoths under King Alaric I successfully breached the walls of Rome. The myth of Roman invincibility splintered as the city was pillaged. For the first time in 8 centuries, the ancient capital fell to foreign invaders. The ancient world ended with these sudden terminations. Physical walls and cultural languages were dismantled almost simultaneously, ending centuries of continuity. As we move into the era of global colonial towers, the mechanics of empire shift toward military suppression. On August 24, 1516, the Ottomans defeated the Mamluk Sultanate at the Battle of Marj Dabik. This single victory expanded the Ottoman reach across Syria, securing their position as the dominant power in the Middle East for 4 centuries. Exactly 300 years later, the British Empire demonstrated a similar peak of military force. On August 24, 1814, British troops marched into Washington, D.C., and set the White House and the Capitol ablaze. At this stage of their life cycle, empires shaped the map through direct violence. They maintained their status by burning the institutions of their rising rivals. By the 20th century, the tools of conquest changed. Power was consolidated through ideological alliances and bureaucratic treaties. On August 24, 1949, the NATO treaty took effect, creating a formal Western bloc. This shifted the defense of Europe to a collective bureaucratic alliance. This alliance formation contrasts with the collapse of the Soviet Empire 42 years later. On August 24, 1991, Ukraine declared independence from the USSR. On that same afternoon, Mikhail Gorbachev resigned as head of the Communist Party. The administrative center of a global superpower vanished in a single day. Modern power is dismantled from within. A centralized state can be erased by a localized vote or a single resignation letter. This 1600-year trajectory shows a consistent path. From the fall of Rome to the dismantling of the Soviet Union, August 24 has served as a focal point for the death of the old world. While players have evolved from kings to committees, these events represent points of terminal rupture, moments when a long-standing status quo becomes impossible to maintain. The institutions we consider permanent today are susceptible to these same fractures. A border or an alliance that has lasted for decades can be unmade by a single world-shattering crisis. History suggests that when a system fails, it often begins on an otherwise ordinary afternoon. The next shift could occur on any random day on the calendar.